Okay. So partnership or cooperation in general, and then the three little sub questions are: when is an example of when partnership has been important to you? Why was it important? Like, what was the outcome? And then how? How did you know, why was partnership better than if you had to deal with it by yourself or something like that? So you kind of gave an example just a minute ago. I can remind you of what I'm thinking of. Does anything come to mind?
No.
Okay, you were talking about just last week and sorting through the transition of last week and how you appreciated your, socializing and talking with your friends. Yeah. So when is partnership important? Okay, so I guess it's useful for you to know what I mean by partnership, and I mean something pretty broad.
Yeah, I get what you mean by that.
Okay, so a specific case of when it was important was last week when you had, were you upset at some point, or you surprised or something? I said, were you upset or surprised last week? Like, how did it set up that it was important?
That was about the girl thing.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, did you get mad? What, like?
I was a little angry at what happened, and then I realized it was my fault, so I was sad and a little confused, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, confusion's an awesome answer. It's so perfect. So if you have confusion, then you talk to some people who may have some insight and perspective, or at least will listen to you, because maybe as you talk, you kind of learn something just by talking. So was it was several friends, or like was there one in particular, or one conversation in particular that was really important, or was
the one that really stood out was the one my friend Cole.
Uh-huh.
He was really cool about it.
Yeah.
And I guess I've always trusted Cole. He's one of those guys who's like when you meet him, you know you can trust him.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been friends for a really long time. Like when I was 4 or 5, I met him.
Right.
No, I think I was like 7 actually. Yeah, because it was 3rd day.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know Cole. I don't know if I met Cole for sure, but I know his name. You talked about him a long time.
Yeah, me and him are like really good friends, and he pretty much gave me advice to help, and I used it, and it really worked.
Okay.
Another one is my friends that I've been hanging out with for a really long time now, like couple of years, and it's just we've always been hanging out like Thursday to Saturday, and actually I'm gonna go hang out with them today soon. They from the beginning they warned me that it wouldn't end well.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're like, told you so and stuff, and you're like, yeah. And then Martin's like, yeah, man, I know, I've been there before, done that, and yeah.
So that gave you some reassurance. Is that what you're pointing out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, even for somebody to go, yeah, that is confusing. I'm confused, and then you tell them why, and they go, wow, yeah, that's confusing. Even that can be helpful sometimes. It's not like super helpful, but it can be. At least bring you like instead of being anxious about the fact that something was confusing, you're just like, yeah, that's confusing. Ah, okay.
Yeah, I get that.
Yes, there's like a relief sometimes. So we covered why and when. So what they said to you was, how did this come about? Did you just you were already talking to them like in your usual interactions, or you called them and said,
Yeah.
"Hey"?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys were already talking. You brought up what was going on with you, or did they say, "Hey, is something different," or what?
What?
Did they notice that something was different, or did you tell them, "Hey, something's new"?
I told them.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, it sounds like your mom's home.
Oh, no, my niece Katie is over here.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that was kind of what I had to cover as far as, I think you covered what I had in mind as far as cooperation, like in a basic example. I could go further into that. I could give an example for myself. There's a couple different, there's like the reason I brought it up in the first place. I could tell you that. So, you want to do any of that right now?
What's the question? Sorry. Someone asked to see the back.
You want me to repeat that?
Yeah.
Okay. So I could tell you a little bit about why I brought up this whole issue of partnership and why I asked those questions. I could give you a couple examples for me of like why partnership, an occasion when partnership was important, why, how, etc. Kind of like you just did.
Sure.
Okay, you want me to do that one?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the one I was thinking of was in early 2007 when I couldn't walk. So I don't know if you're aware of this, but I lost the ability to walk in early 2007, and I was, having to adjust to how to live, right? I hopped. If I'm like going 4 feet, I would just hop. To drive, I would use my left leg for both the gas pedal and the brake pedal. So that, that wasn't a huge issue because I had an automatic transmission car. I assume you know what I'm talking about. So one leg wasn't that big of a deal. I got a walker, like a little folding thing that I could put in the car and then use to get around the house or to go to a grocery store. Once I could get to a shopping cart, I could just hang on to the shopping cart and use one leg and basically hop. I would get tired really quickly because hopping is a lot more is a lot harder than walking. But anyway, that was really the first thing, is how do I get around it all? So the big twist was like the situation. That's kind of all the background. The situation was I was driving. I lived in a part of Scottsdale, and I was driving south, and my car broke down. And so my car broke down, and I couldn't walk. So I wasn't that far from home. In normal circumstances, I could have walked home, but I actually couldn't walk, and my car broke down. So I ended up having to ask for help of other people, and I got a lot of people did not, they basically blew me off. And then the short version of the story is eventually somebody was jogging by. I was confident that if I, went to right up to them at the jogging path, if I could just hang out at that spot, eventually a jogger would come by, and they did. And the first person I asked, they had a cell phone with them. They let me use their cell phone, and then somebody, I called somebody. They answered. They came and picked me up. I got some tow truck to come and help with the car. People fixed people fixed what was wrong with the car. Like all in one day, I had a lot of things. A lot of different people helped me, and I got a pint of raw cream, and that was the intervention that I used to recover the ability to walk, which I actually did overnight. Okay, so I just crunched a lot of stuff in one little story. Did you get all that?
Yeah.
Okay, so I had to ask the jogger for help. I asked the person I was living with at the time, not a girlfriend, just the person I was living with. They came and gave me a ride. All this stuff was just cooperation and partnership. And for me, the issue was it was really stressful and unfamiliar. I was really upset, but when I asked the jogger for help, I was crying because I was really, desperate. So you're where you live. There's like all these people. Like you got a bunch of neighbors, right? Dozens, hundreds of neighbors, right? In certain places, if your car breaks down, there's not a lot of people around. So I didn't really give you like all of the context of the story, but there were people around, but they weren't stopping. When I waved at them, people wouldn't stop. So I figured out I had to go to a place where people were just jogging or walking, and that was how I was going to be able to work out, getting somebody's attention, because everybody else was, they could see me waving, but they didn't care. So it was like a small investment for somebody who's jogging to stop jogging and let me use their phone for a minute. But for people driving by from the stop, like it was weird, and they didn't do it. And I never did have like a cop or somebody, stop by and say, hey, is everything all right? So I just, I was there for a long time. I didn't tell the whole story, but I was there a very long time. And eventually got somebody to stop. So that was very helpful. And the thing about the raw cream too, a few days prior to that, somebody told me, just try this. It's a few bucks. We'll order it. You can try it. If it doesn't help you, no big deal. If it does help you, fantastic. And it helped me a lot, So that's my example.
What?
I said, so that was my example or my story. Basically, I wasn't, I didn't, I guess it's, I had a cell phone, but I didn't have it with me, or it wasn't charged or something. That's why I'd ask somebody for their phone. So basically, there was I didn't have my own normal backup plan wouldn't work. So normally, if I broke my car down pretty close to where I live, I would just walk home. But I couldn't do that. I didn't have my phone working, so.
Yeah, my friend Paul, he told me like a couple days ago, you just have to have 4 plans.
4?
4.
Uh-huh.
Alright.
Well, 4 is a lot, yeah. Usually people have like, if you have 3, that's usually enough, right? Like 1 plan, a backup plan, and then like a variation. Go ahead. What?
My other friend, Nate, he didn't have a plan to go. He didn't have anywhere to sleep. He's kind of like, he fixed his parents' house when we were out late, and his parents locked the door at like 11.
Uh-huh.
We were at Walmart at 12.
Yeah.
And so, pretty much she was like getting really cold, getting really mean and strict with the saying, you need to have 4 plans. And that's where it came from.
Okay.
And then, another thing was, I was like, and then cold off, and if D doesn't work, and then they can have E plan. Then it's like, yeah, until C. If C doesn't work, then you're fine.
I actually didn't get everything you just said. I got you have a backup plan, a plan C. If that doesn't work, then you're screwed.
So if you have 4 plans, right?
Yeah.
Plan D doesn't work.
Uh-huh.
Because it goes A, B, C, D, right?
Right.
So plan D doesn't work. Then make a plan E.
Uh-huh. Right.
E doesn't work, F. Keep going until C. And if C doesn't work, you're fucked.
Okay. You got 26 chances right there, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, we could even add letters like, go to uppercase A, right?
Yeah. Go 40, no, that's 52.
Very good, very good. That should cover it. I think if you got 52 plans, that's going to resolve most situations right there.
Yeah.
52 methods or whatever. So I guess
If the 50-second plan doesn't work,
then you're screwed. Something's wrong. Yeah, that's a problem. Well, so the deal was I got like ways to handle things on my own, and then they didn't work, and then I went to partnership. I could have had partnership, be part of an earlier plan, I guess, whatever. But that's not really important. The basic thing is I was surprised. I was frustrated. I'm backing up to the thing about not being able to walk. I had tried different, medical things and health things to help me, and I was definitely disappointed and then frustrated and despondent. You know that word, right? So when somebody told me, "Hey, I think what you're describing, I think that's actually might be simple to resolve," I was very hopeful, and it did work. I just my car broke down on the way to picking up the stuff. So, let's see. Then there's the realm of when partnership is like super important, and then there's the realm of just when it's beneficial, it's favorable. I thought of really kind of dumb examples of like if you're carrying a couch or something, it's helpful to have two people. I don't mean dumb. I mean they're not very exciting. So partnerships is valuable in 1,000 ways, but we notice it most when some plan that we already have doesn't work out, So then there's a whole nother subcategory or whatever, another tangent, I'll say, of how to be a good partner, how to identify other people that are, excellent partners for you or excellent partners for a particular situation. Like if I need an auto mechanic, then I either need people who know auto mechanics or people who are auto mechanics, and that's it, So I'm kind of just telling you some of the other ways that the conversation could continue there. I wasn't planning to go into that. I mean, if you want to make a quick comment on, you talk about Cole and Nate, like, would you describe anything about them as far as why you find them to be valuable people to talk to?
Nate, because he's not surprised. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed, but he's a sweetheart. So, when I talk to him, he always has, something that can cheer me up.
Okay.
And that's why I value him.
That's
and
awesome.
With Cole is just like, he's a genius. Like, he knows how to get out of good situations. Like, he knows what to do in a lot of situations, and it helps to have him as a backup plan to, like, if I can't think of something, then I can have him. That'll help him or something.
Okay. So I think about creativity, and then I also think of expertise or like experience, right? So are you saying he's pretty good with all that?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay. And I don't know what particular situations you're talking about where expertise or experience, other than what we were talking about before, with breaking up with a romantic breakup or something like that. But
teenager stuff.
Okay, I assume when you say teenager stuff, you don't want to say any more about it.
Pretty much.
I mean, like you can ignore my answer, you can ignore what I say, or say yes or no, huh?
Drama.
Oh, like interpersonal drama, social drama.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Because he just got done with high school.
Oh, he's done with high school?
Yeah, last year he got done with high school.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you had a friend. I didn't know he was that much older. Okay.
Yeah, I have a bunch of older friends.
Cool. That's a neat little thing because they have a really different. They might have a different perspective than you. Go ahead.
And he had to deal with a kid and stuff like that. So he has like a bunch of, and he is like one of the smartest guys I know, because he can get through like a lot of situations and come out alive.
Okay, and come out alive? Are you meaning that like he literally was in danger of dying, or?
Well, yeah, he could, but I'm talking more like, come out sane.
Come out sane. Okay, come out clean. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So he's had some challenges then, and that actually is part of why he's learned from them. Cool.